The 4B movement, originated in South Korea, is a cultural and social movement centered around four principles: no dating, no sex, no marriage, and no childbirth. Primarily led by women, this movement challenges traditional societal expectations by rejecting conventional relationship and family norms. The 4B movement advocates for personal autonomy, encouraging individuals to prioritize self fulfillment, career aspirations, and financial independence without the societal pressure of being in a romantic relationships or family life. While initially focused on South Korean culture, the movement has resonated globally, especially among those questioning traditional gender roles and societal expectations. As I enter the dating world, I have come across many labels or terms in which it has described a certain group of people based on their mentality and the issues they have faced as an individual or as a collective. 4B is one of those groups that I did not know I was practicing, not knowing that 4B was a term to describe me not wanting to date men. I have my reasons why I am practicing the 4B movements. Will I change my mind and jump out of the bandwagon and start dating men again? To hear more about the 4B movements and my answer to that question, keep listening because you don't want to miss this episode. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of yours Druelee. It is I, your one and only host, Druelee, of course. Now, before I begin this episode, I do want to say Merry belated Christmas and a Happy New Year's. This is actually the very first episode that I am posting or creating or doing as of this year. I hope that each and every one of you guys had a wonderful holiday, whether you spend it by yourself or with your families or friends or whatever it is. I hope that you guys were warm, cozy, safe, and happy with the gifts that you guys have. And if you didn't get any gifts, it's okay because you don't have to wait until the special holidays or special days to get gifts. You can always buy yourself gifts any time of the year, okay? Just don't forget that. Other than that, wish you guys had a good New Year's. This time around, normally I like to go out and have fun and, party it up. But this year I just decided to stay in and enjoy my company, ring it with Arabelle. And the good thing is that I didn't have to get dressed up, try to beat the traffic and try to be home. So I've been home all this time and it was much needed. And as you get a lot older, yes, it's nice to go out and have fun and celebrate. Sometimes it's just nice to just be at home and be in the comfort of your house and just ring in the New Year's, and that's totally fine. And would I do that again? Of course. But other than that, that was all I wanted to start off of this episode. And of course, I know it's been a minute since I released my episodes. It's taking me a lot longer to do so. The end of the year is always busy with holidays. And on top of that, I just got myself a new microphone. And so I've been trying to troubleshoot it. And hopefully the audio here sounds good. Hopefully there's no delay or anything like that. I've just been trying to troubleshoot it. The way that it's recording wasn't to my liking. Trying to YouTube search it or Google search the issues and how to fix it. As of now, it's a lot better. And so if you guys are hearing this now and it sounds a bit weird, let me know so that I can make some changes. But right now, I am using my brand new microphone, which is the Shure SM7DB. I've always wanted the Shure SM7B when I first started this podcast. But of course, you guys, it's very expensive. So all this time, I've been using the Rode, what's it called again? I've been using the Rode Pod mic, and it was very affordable. And if you guys want me to do like an in-depth of podcast equipments and all that stuff, do let me know, and I can do like a separate video on that. But other than that, I am so happy with this microphone that I got for my birthday. It was a belated gift from my brother King. So thank you, King, for gifting me this. You know that you didn't have to, but I do truly appreciate you. And yeah, I'm excited to use this mic and create tons of episodes for you guys to listen. Aside from all of those extra stuff that I just added into the introduction, let's dive into today's episode. As you guys can hear from the introduction and the title, let's talk about the 4B movements. For those who don't know what it is, I'll give you guys a brief summary of it. So basically, the 4B movement is a radical feminist movement that originated in South Korea as a form of resistance against patriarchal culture and traditional gender expectations. So the movement has gained significant attention from promoting women's autonomy and rejecting societal pressures that has historically limited women's choice. So the name 4B refers to four Korean terms, which represents a key principle that participants adopt to challenge patriarchal norms. What those four principles of the 4B movements is: number 1, no dating; number 2, no marriage; number 3, no childbirth; and number 4, no heterosexual relationships. South Korean society has a long history of rigid gender expectations where women are often expected to marry, have kids, and dedicate themselves to their families. Despite advancements in women's rights, gender inequality remains a significant issue, with women facing challenges in the workplace, unequal domestic burdens, and widespread sexual harassments. Many South Korean women, specifically younger generations, have grown frustrated with these persistent issues and are seeking alternative ways of living that prioritize self-respect, safety, and personal fulfillment. While the movement has governor support, it has also faced criticisms from various groups, including traditionalists who see the movement as radical and damaging to family values. There's men's rights activists who view it as promoting misandry or hatred of men. And there are liberal feminists who believe that the movement's separate stance may alienate potential allies. However, supporters of the movement argue that radical changes are necessary to address deep-rooted gender issues and that women should have the right to opt out of oppressive institutions if they choose. The 4B movement have sparked important discussions about genders, relationships, and family values in South Korea. It has influenced similar movements in other countries where women are questioning traditional roles and seeking new ways to live freely and authentically. While controversial, it represents a significant shift in how women see their roles in society. So all in all, the 4B movement is a bold response to ongoing gender inequality, aiming to redefine women's role and challenge patriarchal structures in modern society. So that is a mouthful. I know that is a lot. I will definitely do a post on my website. That way you guys can read a little bit more of that, along with videos that I have gathered while researching this topic, and just so that you guys have more information on what it is and how it first started. But this 4B movement, I didn't realize that it was created or it exists. From my research, it started back in 2019. I didn't know that I was practicing this. And if you guys have been with me from beginning till now, you guys know that I've been abstaining from having sex with men. I have my reasons not to, and they're good reasons. And if you, for some reason, can't do that, that's up to you. Kudos to you. I understand and I get it. But for me, I've been abstaining from talking to guys, or I've been abstaining from having sex with guys. Also been almost a year since I've been on a date, okay? And it's not that I am purposely doing it. It's just more of, I've come to realize that this is my life. In order for me to be happy, to enjoy myself, to actually elevate as an individual, I can't be with someone who don't see the same thing. I can't be with someone who only wants me to benefit him. And throughout my journey of being single, experiencing my previous relationship, it got me thinking a lot. And of course, there's like a lot of resources out there that talks about dating's do's and don'ts. There's a lot of labels when it comes to certain people, like, of course, the 4B movements, feminist, masculine, what is it, the red pill, blue pill, that I would touch on for sure in a later episode. Men going their own ways. What else? It's just a lot of label when it comes to identifying certain collectives when it comes to dating or being in a relationship. I tend to gravitate certain things that make sense. Now, if you're like me, where you're just starting off dating or starting off being single, or you've been single and you never been in a relationship, or if you have, whatever it is, if you have come to the point where you are researching and you are wanting to know more about, relationships, about self, you will come to a point where there's a lot of noises out there that is going to influence the way you think about yourself and the way you think about life and societal image and conforming into what society wants us to do when it comes to living life. And as of now, as I'm recording this episode, I would not be opposed to start dating again. But as of right now, for the new 2025, for this new year, I want to elevate myself financially, mentally, physically. In order for me to do that, I can't be with someone who's just going to be a part of my life just to use me for his own benefit. It got to a point where I'm okay if I decenter men so that I can center myself. You guys could say that it's very selfish, but it's not. And for my woman out there, an only way for you to elevate and to be a good version of yourself is for you to decenter men, decenter your boyfriend, decenter your husband. And he needs to understand that you are an individual and you have your own life. Your life does not conform to him. Now, if that's the case, the relationship is not going to work. And the only reason why I know that is because I've experienced that myself. My last relationship, I centered this person, put him in the pedestal, and in the end, I lost myself and I didn't know where I was in that relationship. And in the end, got cheated on, and now look at me, single all over again. At the same time, I realized that it was my fault. I didn't know better. And now that I know a lot better, now I know that I can become the best version of myself. I need to stop imitating men. I need to stop being so delulu, thinking that by meeting a man, he will save me from despair or be my Superman, right? I have to be able to get up, get my ass up, work, provide for myself, pay my bills, and do all those things. I don't need to wait for anybody to do that. Now, if he realized that, if he's like that and he realized that, but yet he wants to have companionship or just to, have someone there, that's totally fine. For me, I'm at a point where I don't want to be with someone who's going to use me just to benefit himself, or he thinks that I need to do everything for him or drop everything for him or change my lifestyle for him. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not willing to stoop that low. If we're able to come together and compromise, that's fine. And of course, culture and religion, it does play with all of that. But for me, I consider myself a free spirit, and I would rather just allow that person to do his own thing. But when it comes to our times, I will make time for it. And I need him to understand that I have my own life too. And I'm not going to throw everything away just to do everything for him. And then it got me thinking about, okay, well, if that's the case, then that's kind of like being in a friends with benefit or in a situationship where you guys are just using each other for certain things. Like, I don't need a man to pay for my bills. I don't need a man to drive me to work. I don't need a man to do certain things, right? maybe the only thing that would benefit is just sex, right? And now I understand why some people are okay with just fucking each other and let that be the only main reason for them to be together. The moment when a person catches feelings, that's when it's a no-go. From the beginning of that relationship, having emotional attachment and having more than just sex was not the main reason why they got together. They got together because of sex, and that's it. So my thing is this. If I am not dating a guy, I don't want to get married, and I don't want to have any kids, nor do I want to be in a relationship with a man, then the only thing that will benefit me to be with a man is just to have sex. But at the same time, you guys know my reasons as to why I'm abstaining from sex is because there's no reason to have sex with them. You know, I don't want to get infected by a disease. I don't want to get pregnant and end up having a baby, raising a baby by myself. Or maybe I want to get rid of the baby. Who knows? And like I said, I didn't know that I was practicing this 4B movement. I didn't know. On top of that, as you guys know, Trump won the election, right? And as a person who has TikTok, there's been many videos out there talking about people needing to practice the 4B movements because now that Trump is in office, something about with him being able to stop women's rights from getting abortions or doing things that pertains to women. And again, you guys, I'm not an expert in this. I'm just hearing things. I don't really have a side to whatever. When it comes to politics stuff, it's something that I'm not familiar with. I don't know. I'm very stupid when it comes to stuff like that. But all these things that I'm telling you guys are just things that I've heard on TikTok. And when Trump came into office, a lot of people put out a lot of videos about practicing the 4B movements, and I wasn't aware of that. Some people were aware of that movement. And again, like I said to you guys, this started back in 2019. I didn't know about this until I think last year or last 2 years ago that this was happening. And with Trump winning, it got really big. And if you are practicing this or are for this movement, great. But at the same time, don't just do it just because you have a hatred for Trump. Don't just do it because you have a hatred for a guy who treated you like shit, okay? The reason why I am practicing this movement because I just naturally just did it. I just naturally did it. I'm not opposed to dating, but I just don't have no desire to date anybody. If I am dating someone, he has to be someone whom I will see could be a potential next husband in line, right? I just don't want to just date or just to have a free meal or to, I don't know, look pretty. I don't know what it is, but dating is just off the market for me as of now. And if I'm not dating, I'm not thinking about getting married. You guys, I've done marriage and it's not all that. Maybe I was with the wrong person and that's why marriage is not all that. I do understand to the point where when it comes to marriage, it does take a lot of sacrifices. It takes a lot of compromising, communication, and all that stuff. And I'm able to do all of that. But if I'm the only one that's able to do that and my partner can't do that, then there's no point in being in a marriage. So that is off the list. Next is childbirth. As much as I adore kids and having kids, when you think about it, it's very expensive. I don't know what the true number is when it comes to the expense of buying clothes, feeding, and the doctor's appointments, or even giving birth. I can say that it is expensive. At the same time, I've seen that a lot of women, they do lose their identity to where they stop what they do when it comes to their career or their interests in life. After giving birth to the child, everything is directly towards that child. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that I know that some women, they can't separate that. And for me, honestly, I feel like I'm just going to be one of those women where I'm just going to drop everything and have my whole life dedicated to my child. I probably would just stop this podcast or stop doing things that I enjoy doing just to take care of my child. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. However, it goes back to partnership. If you know that you're going to be like that, you still want to continue, let's say, your career, or you want to continue your hobbies while raising a family or raising a child, you need to be with someone who can see that and can support you in that. Vice versa. If you're with someone who waits for you to do every single thing and he's not helping you one bit, he's not willing to sacrifice his own time to take care of you and to carry the load with you, it's not going to work out. At this point, you guys, I'm 35. I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, no more kids, no more having kids at all. Maybe if I'm lucky to meet somebody in the future, and let's say by the time I'm 40 and I have kids, great. But if not, I am just very content to just be single and elevating myself. And then, of course, lastly, not wanting to be in a relationships. Yeah, that just, it all goes together, okay? I don't have desire to be in a relationship. I don't have desire to date. I don't have desire to get married again, nor do I want to have any kids. Let's say that by the time I post this episode, I say what I said, but if things changes in the future, it does change because I don't know what my future holds. I might say one thing, but if I meet somebody who meets what I am looking for, then great, I might change my mind. But if not, then I am okay just continuing to say no to all of those 4 things, and that's fine. That's okay. I always preach to you guys that if you're not married, that's fine. You don't have to conform into normal societal life. I don't want to conform to that. And if I die lonely, I die lonely. Hey, let me be the black sheep in the family. I want to be the black sheep. But all in all, what I'm just trying to say is that one of the movements that I came across as I embarked this single life, as I dive into the dating world, and I know some people may think that the 4B movement is a bad thing, but just imagine if all the women in the world decided to not date, decided to not be in a relationship, decided not to get married, and decided not to have any kids. Did you know that the population will decrease? It will decrease. And there was a video that I watched on YouTube that mentioned that South Korea had a low birth rate, to which in school there wasn't enough kids that actually enrolled in the daycare because a lot of Korean women, they just decided not to have kids. Whatever your reason is, maybe personal or not, but whatever your reason is to not do, all of those 4, that's totally up to you. Again, you don't have to live your life like everybody else. The only reason why everybody is trying to hurry up to get married, trying to hurry up to be in a relationship, or trying to hurry up to have kids is because that's what we all grew up to do. And that's all we know what to do. Cultural and religion has taught us that we have to be in a relationship in order to be successful, right? But I'm telling you, you don't have to do those things. You can be successful when you're yourself, you're individual. As long as you find happiness within yourself, you love yourself first, that's success right there. You don't have to attach yourself to your partner, your husband, or your kids. Those things don't have to be your identity, because the moment when he passed away, the moment when your kids grow up and they're no longer living with you, like, who are you at the end of the day? You still have to have your own identity. You still have to figure yourself out. You can't just rely on your kids to take care of you or to heal you. You can rely on your partner to do everything for you. If they are willing and able to do that unconditionally and they're doing it because they want to do it, great. They should be a bonus into your life. But if they're not a bonus to your life, then what's the point of living life? What's the point of having all those 4 things in your life? You know what I'm saying? All in all, what I'm just trying to say is that this 4B movement has been something that I was introduced to that I didn't know I was practicing. And it's just one of those things that I have been introduced to when it comes to the dating world. Of course, like I mentioned, there's that red pill, blue pill, there's men going their own way, those titles, and I would definitely go in depth into those things and give you guys my opinions on it too. My thing is that those are great things to reference to. However, don't allow those things to change you to become a bitter person. If anything that you listen or follow is changing your mindset, changing your mentality to be very negative, do not follow these things. Do not practice these things. You just listen with a grain of salt, take what resonates to you, and leave the rest behind. The moment when you dive deep into certain things that would change the way you think, that will think negatively towards another sex, is not good for you. Let's live a peaceful, happy life. Let's surround ourselves with positive energy. It's good to listen to get information and to be educated, but don't just listen to it and change yourself to become a bitter person, because we don't want to be around a bitter person. Not me. I don't want to be with anybody who is very bitter or who has something bitter to talk about. Like, we can have our opinions, we can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, do what's right for you. If you want to practice this movement, great. If you don't, that's totally fine. Have a good reason to do it. If your reason to not date and to not get married is because of Trump being elected to office and he's changing women's right, or if a man whom you dated treated you badly and you decided not to deal with any men and you talk crap about men, the whole idea of this movement, it will not work for you. Agree to disagree. We don't have to argue. We don't have to hate. Let's just love at the end of the day. All right? But all in all, that is all that I have for you guys. Like, I'm trying not to say or do too much when it comes to my episode. I just want to get right into it. It might be a little bit shorter, but you know what? It's okay. But like I said, I will put a lot more information on my website blog posts. That way you guys can read and watch the YouTube videos so that you are educated on that. If you have any questions about this, let me know as well too. We can always talk about that as well. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. And again, Happy New Year's. And I will see you guys on the next episode.